Welcome to another episode of Ricos Garage. Before we get into what we're going to work on today, I just want to take a minute and talk to you. Now, you may have noticed I've kind of been absent from the YouTube for a couple months. Haven't really put out a new video in a while. The reason I've not posted a video lately, I'll be 100% honest with you, I just haven't been real impressed with the videos I've been putting out. I sat down and I asked myself, what can we do better? Watching some of my older videos, I'll be real honest with you, I don't like watching my older videos. It doesn't look like me. And the reason is, it's not me. Those older videos, I would literally spend hours in front of the camera thinking about what I was going to say. I'd say something, not like it, back up, try to say it again, because I wanted everybody to think I was smart. Well, guess what? I'm not smart. This head is clogged with all kinds of useless gearhead knowledge, and what doesn't have that is filled up with movie quotes and song lyrics. That's all you get. When I speak out in the real world, that's what it is. Whatever comes to mind, could be a lyric from a Whitesnake song, could be a movie quote, could just be something that I don't even know where it came from, and I'll rattle it off. That's how we're going to approach these videos. If people like it, great. If not, well, we'll try something different. Not only are we going to revamp the way I shoot the videos, I'm not going to spend a lot of time rehearsing. I'm just going to come out here and do what I do, and we'll let the camera roll, and then we'll edit it and hopefully make some good content for you. What I need to do is concentrate more on being a content creator. I need to create content that you guys actually want to watch. And I got some advice from a pretty prominent YouTuber. Just be yourself and throw it out there. It's going to be what it's going to be. Nobody understands how this YouTube thing works. Views are important, subscribers are important, but that's not what you need to focus on. What I need to focus on is content creation. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to be a content creator. We're going to see if this dumb mechanic can create content that you folks want to watch. There's another part of this. During this hiatus, or whatever you want to call it, trying to relearn myself, rebrand myself, I don't know what we want to call it. The desktop computer went bye-bye. It said, I'm old, I'm out, done. I decided, we're going to do this, let's do it. So, spent some money, bought a really nice gaming laptop, which probably does way more than I am smart enough to do, but I'll figure it out. I've also changed editing software, been relearning that, and behind the scenes, that's just what I'm going to do. If I don't know how to do something, I'm going to do the research, figure it out, and again, all in the name of creating content. That's where we've been, that's where we're going to try to go, and hopefully it all works out. Those of you that have been with me for a long time, ever since the beginning more or less, thank you. Those of you just coming on, again, thank you. I appreciate all the support, guys. I enjoy doing this. I just got to get better at it, and you push me to be better, and that's what it's all about. Enough of this rambling and talking. Let's get into what we're going to work on today. The best way to do this is just take you for a walk around and see what we got going on. There's Mama's JK. I believe I left you guys off with the motor mounts. There's a little peek at the frame mounts. Our reinforcement plates there. We got those mounts burned in, both sides of the frame. Notice on that JK video, when we pulled the oil pan off to flip it around, we found some metal in the pan. I'll throw it up here. You guys can watch that later if you like. But we found out what the metal was is the number 4 connecting rod that spun a bearing. In fact, I think we got it sitting over here. Let's just walk over here and take a look. Yeah, there's what's left of the wasted bearing. So I took the crankshaft off to our crankshaft guy next town over. He thinks we can just weld up and turn that one journal, get us back in the game. Fortunately, he's a couple weeks out, so Right now our 4BT is all sprawled out here on the workbench. I did replace the connecting rod, number 4. It's down here in the bucket. The big end of the rod was tore up pretty good. It's got some bluing on it. You can see where it got hot. The machinist said change the rod, don't mess with reconditioning it. The rod wasn't that expensive, so we bought a new connecting rod. His reasoning for replacing this rod and not reconditioning it is when they recondition these rods, they actually shave, you know, like say 5/1000ths just for a number. They shave 5/1000ths off, then they bolt it back together, and then they machine this out back to the proper diameter. Well, when you do that, that makes your rod shorter. Nobody likes having a shorter rod. Anyway, when you make the rod shorter, it's going to effectively lower your compression ratio. Well, what's the diesel need to run well? Compression. So, while it seems minor, he's the machinist. He knows what he's talking about. So we're going to follow his advice. Like I said, the rod was not expensive. Put a new connecting rod on there, and that'll all be good. Until we get the crankshaft back, we really can't put this engine together. We got hours and hours of cleaning parts and painting, reassembling everything. So that's really not going to make good content. So it really doesn't make sense to work on this today. I do, however, want to show you, this is how awesome you people are. This is a completely rebuilt injection pump, VE pump. When we got our core engine, it did not have an injection pump. And I put the word out on the Facebook that I needed an injection pump. And this nice fella reached out to me and said, hey, I have this injection pump on the shelf. If you want it, come get it, it's yours. That is awesome. The fact that there are people out there, in his words, where it's just sitting on the shelf, it's not doing me any good. If it can keep your project going, have at it. That's worth it to me. That just blows me away that people are willing to do that. That's great. He did tell me it has the stock governor spring in it, and he said the fuel pin's in there. That's how he worded it, the fuel pin's in there. I don't know, and I didn't ask, I didn't think at the time, if he meant there is a fuel pin in there, or if it has the modified fuel pin. So, got on Amazon, bought a new fuel pin. We'll show you one day, we'll go through that, we'll change out the governor spring, we'll change out that fuel pin, get it going. Till we get the crankshaft, there's really not much we can do to that would make for good content, so that's going to wait for another day. Up in front of Mama's, there is a pile of parts here for Pappy's Duramax, our 03 GMC Sierra LB7 daily driver. Bumper cover, new headlights, new turn lights. We're going to put some chicken chasers on it. We got new fog lights, touch-up paint, a new front bumper, and rocker panel treatment. Yes, that would make good content, and we could get started on that today, but there's a problem. Pappy's Duramax is our daily driver, as I said, and if we tear into Pappy's Duramax, more than likely, A, something's going to break taking it apart that we don't have to put it back together. 2, I forgot to order something, which is going to delay the project and not be able to get it back together. Or Z, we're going to get way in over our head and realize it's a lot bigger project and just simply run out of time and not have a daily driver, because the square body is sitting outside with a whole bunch of parts in the back seat, and its clutch doesn't work right now. So we can't tear Pappy's Duramax apart and risk not having a daily driver. So what probably makes the most sense is we'll get we'll get after the square body crew cab. We got a problem with our clutch, and trying to make the factory stuff work. Originally, that 82 had a mechanical clutch. Kind of worked for a while, but the clutch ratio and everything was way off, and I got to do some other stuff to it. And while I had it apart, I tried to fix that. It didn't work. A subscriber reached out to me and had these. This is the pedal set for the hydraulic clutch. Now, he didn't give these to me, and I can't blame him. These things, guys, are getting very hard to find. Square bodies only had hydraulic clutch from 85 to 91. The crew cab and the dualies stayed the old body style till 91, but they didn't make many of those. They didn't make many with a manual transmission. So we had to pay for these. He still cut us a reasonable deal. He sold them to us for less than what they're going for on eBay and Marketplace and on that, but we still had to pay for them. And it's not exactly what we need. This is for a vacuum brake setup. Ours has Hydro Boost, but we can swap our Hydro Boost brake pedal in there and be good to go. And there's going to be some other stuff we're going to have to do to it, but like I say, he sold it to us fair enough that we can put some work into it. So in conclusion, what we've come up with is we can't really get a whole lot done on the JK, so that's out. Pappy's Duramax, I explained that to you. We don't want to get in a situation where we don't have a daily driver. Square body's down. The Harley's not exactly an ideal daily driver, and the wife doesn't want to walk to work. So we've got to leave Pappy's Duramax alone for a while. We're going to pull the square body in here, get going on it till we get into, like I said, something that I either forgot to order or something that's broke or more work than we planned. And while we're waiting on those parts to show up, we'll jump over to the Jeep. Maybe the crankshaft will show up. We can get the engine put together. We can get all the parts cleaned up, get the crankshaft in, get the engine assembled, all doing that while we're waiting on parts for the square body to show up. Once those parts show up, square body back together, square body out, we'll drive it and we'll make it our daily driver. While we're driving that, we'll tear into Pappy's Duramax, because I think you're going to enjoy the video on Pappy's Duramax, the way I'm going to approach it. It's going to make sense to you. What we need to do is get the square body in here, the square body with the clutch that doesn't release. Okay, let's open the door, let all of our air conditioning out, see if we can't get the square body in here. Square body's parked outside. Like I said, clutch doesn't release, so this is going to be very interesting. We're going to have to fire up said square body in reverse. With any luck, we'll fire it up. It'll shoot off into the Dollar General. After it crashes into the Dollar General, we'll wait for the police to arrive in the tow truck, and then after we get that debacle sorted out, maybe we'll talk real nice to the tow truck driver and get him to back it in here in the shop for us. Sounds like a plan. Let's try it. Woo! It is hotter than Sarah Evans in the 90s in here. Yeah, clutch is non-existent. Okay, put her in raw. Make sure nobody's coming. Here we go. Reversing, reversing. Engine off. Put her in one. Restarting the engine. Okay, we're doing it. Okay. Tripod reposition. Benefits of being a solo YouTuber. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're still in one. And action. Okay, we did it. It's not even close to straight, but it's in there. Okay, now you come along. It's not even close to straight. Here we go. Forwarding. Forwarding. Stopping. What are we doing back here? The work's up here. Okay. Yeah. Actually, rolls pretty easy for being a heavy old truck. Well, that was far less dramatic than I thought. Let's get to working on this old girl. Bring me the ratchet strap, Bill. Bill! Bill must have took the day off. You knew that was there the whole time, didn't you? Did you say anything? No. You're just sitting there. Yes, our door check spring is gone. Did I order another one of those? Of course not. Why would I do that? Remind me to do that later. Let's go forward a little bit more. Okay, clutch pedal is non-existent. Back here in the back, I also have a new floor liner and some sound deadening material because when I first did this swap, okay, now that we put some light on the situation, when I did the NV4500 in this, had to move the shifter hole. See our fashionable license plate cover for our old 4-speed hole. And the 208 shifter is completely different than the factory 205 shifter. The original rubber mat was tore up, so it didn't make it, taking it out of here to do all that work. And I've just been driving this thing, no sound deadener, no floor covering on the front, which doesn't make for a very pleasant experience. Pull the floor covering out. That will give us a little better access to underneath the dash. You don't have to be a contortionist to get around this seat. We'll get the pedals out and we'll change that pedal bracket. We'll hopefully get the clutch working. Then we'll clean up our floor, put our floor covering in, and maybe get this thing to where it's nice to drive. Fun to drive right now, but forget about talking to your passenger. Forget about hearing the stereo. 2 of our off-road parks that we frequent are an hour away, and after an hour driving this thing, you are ready to get out of it. I would really like start taking this thing on longer trips. That's what I built it for. This needs to be done, and now's the time to do it. As I covered earlier in this video, I'm not very smart. I just blocked the back doors with the lift. Brilliant. So now I get to push it backwards. But you know, actually, let's just think about this for a minute. Why don't we just push it back to where we don't have the lift in the way at all, and then when we find out we don't have enough parts to finish it, then we'll push it up front so we can park the Jeep in here. Now you're thinking, man, well, probably tried to tell me earlier and I was too busy yammering on and wasn't listening to you. Guess you just like pushing this thing. Like a one-man bobsled team. Oh, it's getting heavy. Oh no. Get a run at her, Rico. Stop. Okay, engage parking brake. Let's start with taking all the stuff out of the back seat. The funny thing is, like I explained to you, the wife and I have decided that from here on out, not only with these projects, but with her Jeep, we're done with the credit cards, folks. She's been working a ton of overtime buying parts for that Jeep. The fun thing about doing it that way is when you buy parts over time, you kind of forget what you order. So when you open up these trucks and see what parts are in there, it's like Christmas time. Here's a box from Rock Auto, and we have intermittent wiper switch. Yeah, these old square bodies with the wiper switch in the dash. To get intermittent wipers is just as simple as putting the switch for the intermittent in place of the old one. So we'll do that while we got the dash apart, because the dash bezel has to come off to take the pedals out. So forgot I ordered that. It's fun being old sometimes. We'll set that up there. We have a big box. What's in the big box, Rico? I don't know. Give me a minute. Stop rushing me. Sound dampening material. We definitely need that. 77 to 86 Chevrolet K30 Crew Cab sound deadener. 3-piece. Oh, this is heavy. We're just going to leave that in the box for now. That thing is rolled up tighter than a Cuban cigar, so we're going to have to lay that outside in the sun and let her flatten out when we get to that point. There's that jacket! Been looking for that, actually. I actually made these flyers up when I took this thing to a car show. Here you can see Ricos Garage YouTube. You know that. You're watching us right now. We're also on Facebook as Ricos Garage, or we're on the Instagrammer as Ricos_Garage. So do us a favor and give us a follow on those. Appreciate it. Oh, and here is our rubber floor mat. Not much need to open it up. We're going to have to take seats out, undo the seat belts from the bottom. Cover me. I'm going in. Hey, we got the chiropractor on standby, right? Come on, Bill. You're going to have to help me now. Bill! Bill didn't show up to work again today. He drinks a lot. Seat coming out. Oh, that wasn't nearly as horrible as I thought it would be. Now let me just scrape it right down the side of the truck here. That'd be great. Will you fit? I bet. These back doors are narrower. Don't know if this seat, I don't think it's going to fit out that way. Let's scooter up front. I bought this truck off a buddy of mine, and if memory serves me right, he was the second owner, making me the third owner. In fact, this was my buddy's daily driver at one time, because nothing screams economical daily driver like a 454 crew cab four-wheel drive without overdrive. Yeah, that's high mile per gallon right there. Seats are out. These floors are amazing for an 82. Got some stuff up there we're going to have to address. Back here is so clean. I don't know how, I hope our mat goes all the way to the back, but I don't know. We'll just have to see. This, look at that. Wow. This truck is in excellent shape for an 82, which is exactly why we don't drive it in the wintertime. The great thing about having an 8-foot bed that never has to be made, you got plenty of room to store your parts. I may have spoken too soon about the floor being in good shape. Apparently, judging by the rust trail down there where our heater core had leaked, because I replaced the heater core when I had it all apart, but apparently it leaked long enough. It had a lot of water in the floorboards. This is pretty rusty. So there's what's left of the film I was trying to get off. The rest of it, it's a shame because that's good metal, but I don't know. I'm just going to have to vacuum off this loose stuff and see what we got and then go from there. I don't think it's through anywhere. Well, it's in bad shape. This is not what we wanted to find, but bring in the vacuum! So I fired up our Harbor Freight floor pan remover. This area here actually vacuumed up pretty nice. It's got some soft spots, but it's not horrible. And I think we could wire wheel all that, spray some rust converter on it, and everybody will be happy. But when we got over here to this seam, yeah, things didn't go quite so well. I started seeing daylight, and I'm like, well, we're just pulling the old seam sealer out. And then I'm like, no. Closer I got to looking, that's rot. That's just where all the dirt and everything is set over time on this thing and has rotted all that away. So I'm pretty sure the other side's going to do the same thing. Was not counting on that. Thought we might run into a few little spots so we could just patch up with some sheet metal, and to a body guy, that's probably not a big deal. But guess what? Not a body guy. So I'm not sure how we're going to fix that. I'm just going to have to see what's available pre-made, maybe get a sheet metal guy over here, call a friend of mine who is a body guy, say, look at this, how would you fix it? I don't know. That's going to wrap up today's video. I was really hoping to get this all cleaned up and start working on getting them pedals in here, but now this is kind of a big deal. Maybe it's not. I don't know. We're going to have to call a sheet metal guy or a body guy, see what he says. So on the next installment of Ricos Garage, I'll let you know how that goes along, or we may get the parts we need for the JK and get moving on it. But either way, I hope you come back, and I'll catch you later.